in just a moment, which are brought to you by Loyola Medicine. Visit loyolamedicine.org. Loyola Medicine. We also treat the human spirit. Loyola in the white, DePaul in the black. And we see this matchup for the 37th time all time. In goal for Loyola once again tonight, his fifth start is Marcel Kampman. And on the other side for DePaul, it's Drew Nelly making his fifth start of the season as well. Scott Sudikoff, Jack Cannon with you. Happy to have you along the Valley on ESPN. We'll see how these two teams come out against one another. Obviously, pretty familiar with one another. A lot of these players, of course.
Yeah, there really shouldn't be too many surprises here tonight, Scott. These players all know each other. DePaul has probably a little younger squad, so in that regard, maybe a little bit of surprise. But the players all know each other from playing clubs, so it should be a good matchup.
Blue Demons come in with a 3-1 mark. Had a 3-0 shutout win just a couple of days ago at home over Drake, another team out of the Missouri Valley Conference. Scored 6 goals on the year and have only allowed 2 goals through the first 4 games. Meanwhile, Loyola 2-2 to begin the season. Won the first 2 games of the year that were played here at home against Vermont and Northern Illinois, then dropping both their games in their trip to California over the weekend against Cal State Fullerton and Loyola Marymount. But a pair of 1-goal losses in both those games.
Yeah, Coach Mark Plockman of DePaul has been really pleased that they've been able to spread the scoring around. They're not relying on just one player, and they've been getting goals from freshmen, which is a real boost to any team to bring new players in that can find the back of the net.
This is Billy Hensey. His cross goes a little bit too far, and now it'll be out of bounds for a throw on the far side for the Ramblers.
DePaul likes to play a 3-5-2. Loyola favors a 4-3-3. I think you're going to see Loyola knocking the ball into the corners and trying to exploit the space outside the central defenders and behind the wide midfield men.
Ramblers 4 goals in 4 games scored, also 4 allowed. Turnover in the midfield, and then get a foul on Gian Magno, who's starting out there with Marius Coleman, Oscar Gustafson, Billy Hensey, Chase Wright, Justin Suko, Ethan Stoneman, Andrew Mitchell, Tyler Biggs, and Aiden McGalley. And of course with Marcel Kampman in goal for the Ramblers. Good play by Justin Suko, who scored his first goal as a Rambler over the weekend in California. And it comes back to Kampman, who had 4 saves against Loyola Marymount in the last contest for the Ramblers. This is Andrew Mitchell, has been very impressive for his first couple of collegiate games. In fact, his first career game saw him make a couple of very good defensive plays and also score the first goal of the season for Loyola.
I notice when DePaul has the ball at the back, the wide men spread out wide to give them the width. Expect to see Loyola press them right now to see just how good they are, because if they get caught in possession, they're in trouble. Like now.
There's a bad pass. Billy Hensey steps in front of Jake Feuderer to take it. Now into the box, left-footed shot.
That's a good effort. Good save.
Nice save by Drew Nelly, stopping the attempt by Aiden McGalley.
3-5-2 gives you more numbers in the middle of the park, but your defenders better be good on the ball, because if you get pressure like that and you get caught in possession, you're going to be in trouble, as we've seen already.
Nelly was able to get that left arm out to stop it and then corral it in with his body. He only needed 1 save in the 3-0 shutout win on Monday against Drake.
DePaul wants to get going. They got to get their wide men into the game. That's in the midfield. That's where they're going to have the numeric advantage.
Just underway, almost 5 minutes gone by. We just saw Loyola with the first good offensive chance of the night. Coleman trying to get it up the sideline. It's deflected out.
I notice both teams are hitting long balls too. They're trying to stretch the game to give them more room to play in the midfield.
Coleman will toss it back in for the Ramblers. Cleared out. DePaul wins the second ball, moved to the sideline by Jacob Cito. And now this is Dan Iskra, freshman from Northbrook, Illinois.
Mark Plotkin, DePaul's coach, has been very pleased with their second ball work. He said they've been really winning a lot of the second balls, and that's why they're 3-1.
Magno almost took possession over. Cito drops it back to the halfway line to Iskra, and now Max de Braunia, center back, senior from the Netherlands.
That's a free kick there.
Foul right in the middle there. Yusuf Ramadan taken down. Sophomore who has one of the 6 goals scored this year by DePaul.
He looks pretty steady on the ball there. He turned in the middle of the park a couple of times. Very well.
Solid crowd on hand here. A promotional game, Hustle to Hoyne, and a lot of students in attendance, and the bleachers are packed for this one between the Blue Demons and the Ramblers. It's turning into a brisk Friday night. Nice windy night here. As Mitchell plays it for his keeper, Campman, in his first and only season as a Loyola Rambler, graduate transfer from New Zealand, graduate student.
Loyola's had a strong history of very, very good goalkeepers, and it's been continuing so far this year. Their defense has been pretty solid. Their goalkeeping's been very good.
Ramadan turns it off to the sideline for Futerer, and now back for Iskra. DePaul's only played 1 road game so far this season. It was an overtime victory over Western Michigan a week ago. Gian Magno gave it to Coleman, and now up ahead, Chase Wright.
Expect Gian Magno to really step up this year with Grant Stoneman graduating. He's the natural leader of this team. He's got loads of skill. He reads the game well, and he holds the team together well in the middle of the park.
Of course, Grant's younger brother, Ethan Stoneman, already with a game-winning goal to his tally this season, coming in the opening game against Vermont. Be a throw here by Coleman. Senior from Germany, playing in his 57th game and his 55th career start. And so far has not come off the field once yet this season. De Braunia will let it roll back into the box near his keeper, Nelly.
Paul's number 7, Jake Futerer, has heard a lot of good things about him. He comes from a strong family soccer background. His father is a great player, and it'll be interesting to see how he does tonight, the number 7 for DePaul.
A redshirt sophomore from Glenview, Illinois, did not play last season, but in 2017 had 15 games with 4 assists, and so far through 4 games this year has a couple of helpers. There's Campman. Pressure coming, and now we'll launch it.
It's a good header.
Hensey towards Suko, transfer from South Carolina. Trying to get the offense going for the Ramblers. They have the only shot on goal thus far. Played back for Magno. And now this is Gustafson. Skip out here and have a goal kick for DePaul.
10 minutes in, Loyola's probably had the better of it, but you'd expect that with being the home team, and they're probably a little bit more seasoned than DePaul is at this stage. But other than the one chance, DePaul has held it pretty tight there.
Loyola has enjoyed the comforts of Loyola Soccer Park over the last couple of years. 2-0 to start this season, and went 6-2-1 last year. So my quick broadcaster math tells me 8-2-1 over the last 11 home games.
DePaul's tried to hit a few long balls, which I understand trying to do that. The problem is on an AstroTurf pitch, the ball's going to skip a little quicker, so you really have to be exact with that ball, otherwise it's going to go out of bounds like it did there.
Campman with the goal kick for the Ramblers. Comes back for Gustafson. Battle won by McGalley and then knocked aside by DePaul.
Mark Plotkin would like to see his team in midfield hold on to the ball a little bit more and be a little bit more patient and build the attack slowly to allow the back three to move up behind them rather than just always look for the counter.
Had a foul call there, a referee tonight, Nikola Alexic. Mentioned Mark Plotkin's second year as a DePaul head coach, a former Blue Demon from 2006 to 2009. Was an assistant coach for a couple of seasons. And most recently, before coming back to his alma mater to be the head coach, he was the associate head coach at Colgate. Was there from 2014 to 2017. Look at the resume for Plotkin. And last year, his team 5-9-3, went 2-5-2 in the Big East. Picked to be 9th this year in the 10-team Big East Conference, but strong start to the year, and hopefully, and they're hoping that they will be able to work their way up into at least the top 6 and qualify for the Big East tournament.
If they're doing this well this early with many young players, they should only grow and develop if they can avoid injuries, which is sometimes with the young players the first year as freshmen, it's harder for them physically to compete as the season goes on.
8 newcomers on the roster this year for DePaul, which does include a junior, a couple of, or a transfer on the team. We've had a couple of transfers over the last few years as well. Well, you look at the starting lineup. Dan Iskra is a freshman. Joe McGee is a freshman. Jacob Cito is a redshirt freshman. And Michael Anderson also a freshman. So a lot of those young guys getting run early.
Uh-oh, looks like he caught the Loyola player there. A little reckless. I don't think there was any intent. He had his eye on the ball, but he caught the Loyola player there with the high boot.
Ethan Stoneman, slow to get up. A sophomore from St. Charles, Illinois. Mentioned his game-winning goal in the season opener against Vermont. And the 37th all-time meeting between DePaul and Loyola. The Ramblers winning last year at DePaul 1-0 in overtime. It was a game winner by Grant Stoneman. And the Ramblers really controlled that game at a 13-4 shot advantage. Had 8 of the 9 corner kicks were Loyola opportunities. Marius Coleman. Coleman in the corner. Here's a cross.
Good ball.
Suko looking to settle it. Drops it back for Magno. Plenty of space there, but gets it off to the far side.
Magno might have thought about a shot from there, Scott.
Had a pretty good amount of space. We saw Morgan Turner from DePaul's women's team score a goal from about that distance last night.
It's a good ball. Great ball from Coleman.
Suko. Oh, and knocked away from McGalley. Trying to keep the pressure on the attacking third are the Ramblers. We have been craning our necks to the left for most of this first half so far in the first 14 minutes, as Loyola's had a lot of the play on their offensive side.
Yeah, Loyola generally, when they attack, like to play short passes and create 2v1s and 3v2s on the flanks and work the ball in. And we're seeing that again tonight. It's another good cross.
Header and a DePaul player able to deflect that back to his goalie, Drew Nelly. Almost knocked it in his own net. And now time going to be stopped at 30-27. Look at this chance on the cross coming from the corner. That was Braden Calipari, their number 6 for DePaul, that was able to get a piece of it and help his keeper.
Loyola's best chances so far have come from putting the ball in the corner there, which is the weakness of the 3-5-2, because you've got the narrow defenders there and you put it over the head of the outside wing back. That's where the space is. And I can see that Neil Jones has instructed his team to work the corners, to pull the middle defenders out or get the wing back to drop in and then exploit the space inside when they move.
Pressure coming again. McGalley just overruns it. Now Futerer for DePaul. Try to diagonal pass over the line. That was intercepted by Magno, and this will be offside.
Gian Magno reads the game so well. He watched the player there. He could pick up the pass, and he didn't even step one step up forward and picked it off.
Just over 15 minutes gone by in this one at Loyola Soccer Park in Chicago. Scott Sudikoff, Jack Cannon with you, the Valley on ESPN. And so far, only one shot on goal has been registered. It's been from Loyola. And they've had a couple of other opportunities around the box. Meanwhile, DePaul offensively, I would say, I don't think has had any real chances just yet. Haven't gotten the ball possession inside, really inside the attacking third that much.
No, they've been focusing on the long ball probably a little bit too much, and Loyola's been sitting back waiting for it. It's also very tough to do on a short AstroTurf pitch. And I know Coach Mark Plotkin wants to see them hold possession more and build the attack slowly to give them an opportunity to move up and support. They haven't done that yet.
DePaul's only loss this year was a 1-0 setback against Vermont. Of course, the team that Loyola beat in the opening game of the season. As the two programs swapped opponents that weekend, part of a little Chicago weekend, Northern Illinois and Vermont, the other two teams involved.
And here's an opportunity for DePaul now. They're getting the ball, further up the pitch, and that's what Loyola is going to try and capitalize on.
And it's Magno again who is able to make a play.
Yeah, he's like Magno's like a magnet there in the middle of the park. The ball always seems to find him.
A junior from England who was a second-team All-Missouri Valley Conference last year. Whistle going against the Ramblers. Well, for Loyola, this is the final tune-up before conference play begins. The next 4 games will be in Missouri Valley Conference play, beginning at Evansville on Wednesday before welcoming in.
It's good play from DePaul. That's more what DePaul's looking for, build it with short passes and then free the wide men. They've got the advantage out wide when they're playing 3-5-2. They just have to find a way to get it up into Loyola's half to exploit it.
It's the longest sustained possession DePaul has had so far. Pressure from Hensey coming. Iskra settles it. And it forces a miscue,
you can see what DePaul's
pressure.
Trying to do, but Loyola's snapping at their heels and not giving them any room to turn on the ball in the middle of the park. The number 21, Michael Anderson for DePaul, I've been impressed with him so far. Every time he gets on the ball, he lifts his head up, he looks to turn and free men going forward.
One of those freshmen in the starting lineup from Winfield, Indiana, out of Crown Point High School.
That's good play. It's a nice turn.
Andrew Mitchell has to backtrack for that. Iskra, curling ball towards the far side.
Good skill, unlucky.
Things have settled down a little bit after a pretty strong start that was in Loyola's favor offensively. Mitchell
There to see, trying to exploit the space again behind the wing back. Footerer did well to get back and cover.
And it's going to be a throw for DePaul down there in the corner, so a chance for Loyola to lock it in. Coleman went up for the header. It'll be a Rambler throw along the sideline on the near side.
Good turn from right. Good idea.
And it'll be a foul on Jack Richards for DePaul. They went after it against Coleman. So free kick for Mitchell. Chop it back to the middle to Gustafson. Pressure coming at Campen from Richards. Cito's header, trying to keep the ball moving forward for DePaul. Instead, it's Magno in possession. Gustafson trying to get it over the top. And Chase Wright, who was in the area there. And now once again, back to Mitchell. Mitchell, freshman from the Woodlands, Texas. Has played every second so far of his college career. 4+ games now.
Loyola's playing a 4-3-3, Scott. And a 4-3-3, when you're in possession, your forward players, the two wide people tend to pull out wide to create the space for the midfielders to go into. The key to DePaul will be to catch them in transition, because when they're wide, that's where the space is. Now, obviously, when you're defending, Loyola wants to get narrow. So if they can catch him in transition, that's when DePaul can make some headway.
Foul there on Loyola, to the displeasure of the pro Rambler crowd. Probably a couple of DePaul fans in the stands somewhere. See some blue.
That's a good ball there. Ramadan again. He looks good, Ramadan, so far from what I've seen. The good things that have come from DePaul so far have been when he's been allowed to turn in the middle of the park.
Have our first substitutions of the game. One aside. Zach El-Shafai is in for DePaul, and Jason Ibarra has come on for Loyola. Long throw towards the 6, headed away. And Campman will grab that. It was a good job by Oscar Gustafson defensively, as that ball was coming near El-Shafai, who just entered.
Gustafson saw a lot of time last year as a freshman. I was impressed with him. He reads the game well. He's brave. He puts his head in where others might not.
He started the first 11 games last year as a freshman. And played up over, right at 1,400 minutes for the season.
That's a good header there from Hensey. He's a smart player, Billy Hensey. There's a triangle into the corner again, and a great cross.
Comes out the other side, and
that's exactly what Neil Jones is looking for from Loyola. Play the triangles in the corner and free the man for the cross.
Mitchell protecting it, keeping it away from El-Shafai. It'll be a throw for DePaul right at the halfway line. Neither team has had a corner kick thus far, and Loyola with the only shot on goal.
There's a highlight clip. Magno caught in possession and he wins it back.
Here's a long-range shot. That's the first shot attempt of the game for DePaul.
That's worth a try. You don't see Magno caught too often in possessions. He just does the simple things very well, and he's an intelligent player.
To Brownia. Futerer plays it away from a double team. Cito then lost it to Hensey, who got a little bit of a push there from Futerer that goes uncalled.
Max De Bruyne at the back there in the central defence for DePaul is a rock back there. Big guy, 6'4", 6'5". Doesn't take any prisoners.
Playing in his 58th game of his career, 55 starts. Had the assist on the game-winning goal that DePaul had a couple of games ago against Western Michigan in overtime. Gets involved in the offense a little bit. El Shafai stepping up and taking it as Suko, though.
It's a good turn from El Shafai. Probably deserved a little bit better there. Here's a chance for DePaul now. He did well there. Wait for his teammates to get up and support him. The number 14 for DePaul. Jacob Cito. He's busy. I've seen him. He's been all over the pitch tonight. Both sides of it, Cito. Here we go.
Michael Anderson.
That's what DePaul wants to do. Use the flanks. That's where they've got the numeric advantage.
Futerer gets to it in the corner and wins the throw-in right near the flag for the Blue Demons.
I don't think Coleman's put a foot wrong tonight, Scott, yet, as he's won every challenge on the ground and in the air.
Timmy Iskra with the throw, and time stopped here by the referee for a moment at 18:28 remaining in the first half. And I think there are some fans who are in the corner there that might be causing a little bit of an issue, so the referee went over and got to make sure everything's okay. Again, you can see it's standing room only right now.
A little too boisterous, huh?
Ricochets around near the 6, comes out. Futerer tries the volley, but way off target.
I'd say Futerer will be a little bit disappointed with that. He wasn't able to keep it down. You know, Neil Jones has seen this before with his team, where they play well and they dominate possession, but they don't have any goals for it, and he'll be disappointed that they haven't been able to create any more clear-cut opportunities in the final third.
Neil Jones in his 7th year as the Loyola head coach. Got the team to the NCAA tournament back in 2016, reaching the second round of the NCAAs that season. Of course, came to Loyola after 3 years as the associate head coach at Northwestern.
I think him and Mark Plotkin worked together over there at Northwestern, Scott, at one stage. That's why they're such good friends. I didn't think Loyola and DePaul's coaches were allowed to be friends myself. Times have changed.
It's a different world now, much different. Jason Ibarra taking it into the corner, and I believe has won Loyola its first corner kick of the night.
Loyola's missing Fabian Becerra tonight. He's a player who has some guile and can open up some defences, and I know he was carrying an injury into the game, and Neil Jones wasn't quite sure if he was going to make the game. I believe he's on the bench. We'll see if we see him.
So corner here for the Ramblers.
There you go. Great cross. Ooh.
So DePaul dodges that situation there.
That's straight off the training ground, Scott. Drill it towards the near post and flick it to the back. Very well done.
That's Andrew Mitchell, who
Couldn't quite see who flicked that on. Was it Magali? It's a good header. It was good. That's right off the training ground.
Each team with 2 shots apiece, but Loyola the only shot on goal thus far, and the only corner kick has been for the Ramblers that we just saw a moment ago. Loyola coming off a 1-0 loss at Loyola Marymount, and then a couple days prior, a 2-1 setback against Cal State Fullerton after opening the year with a 2-1 victory against Vermont and a 1-0 win over Northern Illinois.
That's good play from DePaul. That's what Coach Pluckman wants to see, and move the ball in the middle of the park, hold possession. Here's Footer in a good position. Good defending.
El Shafai could not get the ball to Führer, and now...
Well done by Hensey. He waited for the defender to commit and then showed him a clean pair of heels. Probably disappointed with that ball.
Maybe looked like he was put off a little bit there defensively by Yusuf Ramadan. That kind of threw off the timing of what he was looking to do.
Yeah, it was a good idea. He was trying to feed the wide man inside the fullback, but he just it got away from him a little bit.
Just about 15 minutes left in the first half in this 0-0 game at Loyola Soccer Park. Scott Sudakoff and Jack Cannon with you, the Valley on ESPN in this Friday night rivalry matchup. Foul on Loyola. Or check that on DePaul, excuse me.
Referee's doing a nice job of letting the game flow. He's not blowing it up too much. He's letting the guys get the challenges in.
Coleman takes the space given to him. Getting it back. As Suko cutting in front of him. Hensey. Magali now.
Oh, great ball from Magali.
Coleman
great
centers
soccer.
it. Shot. Score!
That's a great goal, Scott.
Second goal for Justin Suko, and it's 1-0 Loyola. And that replay doesn't really give the full play justice of how well it was built up.
No, it's Marius Pullman all the way. He started to play at the back. He was adventurous enough. He's a fullback, and he ended up with the ball in the penalty box and made it happen. Scored by Suko, but definitely made by Pullman.
Yeah, all the way from back in front of us, really, from our broadcast spot. Now look at it here, right, exactly.
Very good composure shown by Suko there.
Second assist of the season for Coleman. He's actually assisted on both of Justin Suko's goals this season. Ball won there by Ibarra.
DePaul's got to play it tight now for the next few minutes. That's a bad challenge. Might see yellow for that. Yeah, he's going to have a whirl.
Ethan Stoneman, second time Ethan Stoneman's taken is not an English word, taken a hard contact like that. No card.
On that goal, Justin Suko showed a great first touch. The ball was moving at pace in the box. He knows he's under pressure, yet he just soft touched with his right foot to set up his left foot. Looked like George Best there.
You could tell in that situation that he had been in that situation before and was not rushing. Kept his composure.
Yeah, I mean, he's a junior. He showed the composure. He's been there before.
In a couple of years with South Carolina, played 17 games last year. And over the first couple of games, it looked like he was trying to find his way within the Loyola offense. And Now with a trip to California and the game back here at home, he's got his first 2 goals of his Rambler career.
Now DePaul needs to keep it tight. Don't give a second goal up before halftime, because then you got a big mountain to climb in the second half.
Just a few moments ago, Justin Succo, second of the year from Marius Coleman. His second assist of the season. Coleman now has 7 career assists.
DePaul has a numeric advantage in the middle of the park with playing 5. I'd like to see them push their wide men up a little bit higher when Loyola's building out of the back to put some pressure on. Right now they're kind of conceding that space and allowing Loyola to start delivering their passes 20, 30 yards further up the pitch than maybe they'd like to. Great effort, well struck. Keeper saw it all the way, but it was well struck there. You know what I'm saying there, Scott? Like when Loyola has the ball, because they've got the extra men in the middle of the park, they're almost conceding that, and it allowing the Loyola defenders to step up to the halfway line with the ball and pick their passes off. Great ball.
Over the top, El Shafai, and Mitchell with a defensive play, but forced into the corner and the knockdown there.
Smart play. Baited him into the foul and he gave it to him. I've been impressed with Jacob Cito from DePaul. Every time he gets on the ball, he's looking to do good things, turning, trying to pick out players and support his forwards.
Redshirt freshman from Brisbane, Australia. He transferred to DePaul from Coastal Carolina.
He is a world traveler, isn't he? Australia to Carolina and up here.
Yeah, Brisbane to Myrtle Beach area, not bad for a year.
I wonder, has he experienced the Chicago winter yet, Scott?
Well, I'm not sure. What are the winters like in Australia? I don't even know.
Somehow I don't think they'd be as severe as Chicago, especially last year.
Of course, I guess right now in Australia it is winter.
Yeah, I was there last winter. I tell you what, it was a lot nicer than our winters. It was 70 degrees every day.
But you were there when it was summer here.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So that always throws me off.
But anyway, enough about my travel log. Back to the game.
We'll hear about it at halftime.
This is an opportunity for DePaul now. It's a dead ball, 40 yards out. Allows them to move most of their players up, put some pressure on Loyola in the box. It's going to be a right footer. They're going to swing it away from the goal. Yep.
Race for that second ball on the end line.
Logically, they were looking for De Bruyne, the 6'5". A good effort. Unlucky. He moves well for a big man, De Bruyne.
Does have a couple of goals in his career. I don't have the notes in front of me in terms of what kind of goals they were, but I'm willing to bet at least one of them was a header on a ball that he went up and won.
Yeah.
If not both.
That free kick was good direction, but it was hanging up a little bit, and it allows Loyola to get time to get under it and put the pressure on De Bruyne. You need to drive it a little bit more and let De Bruyne attack it.
Lone goal of the game so far, Justin Succo for Loyola, assisted by Marius Coleman. Coleman perfectly curls that ball up the sideline to Ibarra. Now Succo in the middle.
Ibarra did well there.
And then did not see, they called something away from the ball there.
Didn't see that either. I saw the linesman with his flag up. Maybe the ball went out for a throw-in, did it?
Yeah, maybe that was the case when that ball that I mentioned that was nicely placed by Coleman, maybe it curled a little too far out.
Should we give our secret away and let the viewers know it's hard for us to see that sideline?
Well, a little tough.
Well done, Magno.
Right below us. Mitchell will use his keeper, Campen, who hasn't yet been needed to make a save just yet. Coleman looking to overlap again. Taken away from Hensey, and now it's DeBrownia.
That's a good ball.
Opportunity building up. McGalley trying to thread it through.
Good skill, well played. That's what Coach Proctor wants to see, building the attack slowly to allow the players all move up together. And this is what Loyola's going to look to do to catch him on the break. A lot of Loyola's attacks are coming from Marius Coleman out here on the left. It'll be interesting to see what Coach Mark Plockton does in the second half, whether he puts somebody to sit on him, force Loyola to build an attack from somewhere else. I don't usually say that with a fullback, but that's where the space is, and that's who's been making it happen. Tim Coleman's been involved in everything that's looked dangerous for Loyola so far. Offside.
So get possession to the Blue Demons with about 6 minutes left to go in the first half. Mentioned this is the final tune-up for Loyola before conference play begins Wednesday at Evansville. Then their next 2 games will be at home against Missouri State and Bradley on the 22nd and 25th of September. Going out wide is Ibarra.
It's a yellow card there. Yep. Has to be. Yep. Is that Gustafson? Yeah, it looked like him. He was worried about DePaul there with the breakaway, but I don't know that he was still a long way to go. I think Gustafson could have let him go and caught him from behind probably.
Michael Anderson will have the free kick. Nope, he'll change up that strategy. DePaul will keep it in the city when they play at UIC on Tuesday before their Big East opener on September 20th against Villanova.
Good communication by the defenders of Loyola there. There was possibility of them colliding, and they just backed off and let the closer man to the ball take it over, who was facing away from the goal.
Coleman back on it, bothered from behind by Isaac Frent. Too far in front of El Shafai to get there. Now McGalley onto it, plays it in the middle for Suko, the goal scorer for Loyola. And the throw in coming for the Ramblers on the far side.
Paul needs to keep it tight for these last 3.5 minutes and just get out of here with 1-0 and you know, reassess where they're at. I think they'll be happy enough. It's a great ball.
Cross header wide.
That's a missed chance. You'd like to have that back again, that's for sure.
Billy Hensey could not get it on frame.
Yeah, you didn't get enough contact on it. See who crossed that, Scott. That was a really nice cross. But Hensey out. Hensey didn't even have to move it. Practically landed on his head. Can't be too hard on himself, Hensey. He's had a good first half. He's looked bright and shit, you know, every time he has the ball, he's looking to do good things with it. Paul's done that a couple of times. They've moved up as a group together to catch Loyola offside, which is, you know, a great tactic, but you're relying on your linesman an awful lot. You better hope that he catches it, because if he doesn't, you're in trouble. It's a free kick.
2 minutes left to go in the first half. See if the Blue Demons can get some offense going in these final couple of minutes. Have not yet had a shot on goal. They're only averaging 7.8 shots attempts
Surprised the ref
per game.
knew that. I thought he might have let it go. It looked like De Bruyne was going to get through it and let the advantage go. It's good for Loyola to do it, actually. De Bruyne was making some headway there.
Yusuf Ramadan.
Yeah, I think Ramadan's fortunate to get that one called. He'd lost possession and maybe went
Lost
down
his
a little
balance
bit
a
early.
little bit, yeah.
Maybe he lost his balance. Let's call it that.
Michael Anderson. So it looks like Justin Suko's goal here in the first half is
Uh-oh.
up over the top of the bar.
Nelly was a little bit nervous with that one. He thought,
Especially with the wind
yeah,
here
you never
today.
know where it's going to land. Of course, if it goes in, the guy who crosses it says he meant to shoot, right?
So Justin Suko's first half goal has the Ramblers in front here, 1-0. Final seconds of the first half. And that will wrap up the first 45 minutes of play. Suko, his second goal of the year, assisted by Marius Coleman, his second assist of the season. And in the 37th all-time meeting between the Blue Demons and Ramblers, the Ramblers have the advantage at halftime. We will take a break and be back with more. You're watching The Valley on ESPN.
As the official healthcare provider for the Loyola University Ramblers, our sports medicine team includes fellowship-trained orthopedic surgeons, primary care and emergency medicine physicians, licensed physical therapists, and certified athletic trainers who care for both body and soul. Our program offers day, evening, and weekend appointments at our immediate care locations. Caring for body and soul is unique, and it's uniquely Loyola. Loyola Medicine. We also treat the human spirit.
If you have suffered an injury or had surgery, let the experts at NovaCare Rehabilitation get you back to your life. Our highly skilled physical therapists develop a plan of care to exceed your expectations. We offer many techniques such as soft tissue mobilization, dry needling, active release technique, cupping, and video analysis. So don't live in pain another day. To request an appointment, visit novacare.com today. NovaCare, the power of physical therapy.
Lou's Crew is the official kids club of Loyola Athletics and is the best way to get your child involved with the Ramblers. Register your child today at ramblertickets.com and
Welcome back. At halftime, Loyola 1, DePaul nothing. In this rivalry matchup, Scott Sudikoff, Jack Cannon with you in the Valley on ESPN. And we saw right off the bat, the first 15 minutes or so, Loyola had a run of play really offensively was in their favor, and they really controlled things from the outset.
They did. It looked like they were going to be stymied for a while, but they finally got the breakthrough through Justin Suko, built by Marius Kuhlman. It was a well-worked goal, well played. I think Neil Jones will be very happy with that.
And you've been pointing out that you see a way for DePaul to get their offense going. They just haven't been able to put it together.
No, they need to make those quick passes in the middle of the park when they catch Loyola on the transition. They're focusing a little bit too much on the long ball, which is very difficult to do on a short AstroTurf pitch.
See the numbers through the first half of play. Loyola with the shots advantage and the only shots on goal so far. Physical game so far on the Loyola side with the 10 fouls, and the only corner kick of the game has come from Loyola. And we see it though at halftime. There's you see a lot of changes can be made. You can see a much different game in the second half.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what DePaul does. I noticed towards the end of the first half, De Bruyne, the centre-back, who's a good player, who's starting moving up into midfield to try to create mismatches and try and give an advantage to DePaul in the middle of the park. And I think you might see a little bit more of that as the game goes on if DePaul is not getting enough of an offensive presence. So
it's 1-0 Loyola with the Justin Suko goal. And that's where we stand. We will take a break and be back with more here at halftime of the Valley on ESPN. Loyola Ramblers Soccer is brought to you by PNC Bank, the official bank of Loyola University. Loyola University Health System, the official sports medicine services of Loyola University Athletics. And ABC Transportation, the official transportation sponsor of Loyola Athletics. Welcome back to Loyola Soccer Park. Scott Sudikoff, Jack Cannon with you. Second half is underway. 1-0 Ramblers. 31st minute goal scored by Justin Suko, assisted by Marius Kuhlman. DePaul, no shots on goal in the first half. Their keeper, Drew Nelly, with a couple of saves. And so let's see how these two teams, let's see what changes, if any, they made in terms of their strategy on the field.
Well, Loyola's not changing their tactics at all. Right from the kickoff, they drove it to the right-hand side of DePaul's defense, where they've been working all night and they've had some success there. I wonder if Mark Plotkin will have his right wing back drop back and help out his full back or right centre defender there.
Goal kick here for Drew Nelly, redshirt junior from St. Louis, 6'5", 195 pounds. Started all 16 games last year, or 16 of the 17 last year.
Well played by Suko, well played, good skill, good idea.
Was trying to thread it through for Chase Wright.
The defender there for DePaul just gave Wright a little nudge to stop him running through.
Turned over, Stoneman. Now Suko.
Well played, Suko. I've been impressed with Suko. Yeah, he scored the goal and it was a great goal, but his work otherwise off the ball, including getting into space and taking up good positions, has been very good. Nice touch from Magali.
Comes here to Tyler Biggs.
Well worked.
Stoneman looking for room for a cross. Instead gives it to Biggs.
Good football.
A 1-2, getting it back. Curls it. It was heading towards the penalty spot. And then cleared out by Jake Feuderer.
Loyola have a tendency in the final third at times to overpass, and as a forward you're getting antsy because you want the ball in there early before the defense gets their feet settled. They had a few opportunities there to get the ball earlier than they actually did. Come on, let's see what DePaul can do. That's a good pass.
Stoneman back for Suko. Suko transferring from South Carolina, from San Antonio, Texas. And it'll roll out and be a goal kick.
Suko's going to be a big player for Loyola this year, it looks like. He's very busy, he's very intelligent, he wants the ball all the time. He's constantly moving into space to make himself available for his teammates. And if he's doing that now, he can only get better.
3 minutes have gone by in the second half. Chested down by Stoneman. Chase right. Doesn't win the race for the ball. DeBrownia was back there.
Suko again.
Suko wins it back though.
Oh, good skill.
Ramadan.
Good skill from Ramadan. He looks like he might have picked up a knock there.
Yeah, coming together with Gustafsson. And
yep, Ramadan left his foot in there in frustration. That's interesting. I thought he was going to pull Ramadan up for leaving his foot in. I was watching that and I missed the play going on down here with number 26 going down. The referee booked the Loyola player. Could you see who he booked there? Was it Magno?
Yeah, I believe it was Magno with Jack Richards down on the turf. Yeah. Be the second card of the game against Loyola.
As you can see, is limping there.
Yeah, he came together with Gustafsson.
It was a hard challenge. It was clean. He was a little frustrated. He left his foot in there as Magno was going by, and I thought that's what the referee was pulling up. But obviously something took place with the DePaul number 26. Jack Richards. Wouldn't be DePaul Loyola without a little bit of that, Scott.
It's the first time all season in the 5 games now.
Oh. Now, you know what, now it's getting a little chippy. The referee's going to have to get a hold of this.
We're getting a lot of whistles here, and things getting a bit chippy.
The ref's done a nice job so far. He's let them play, and now I can see him just grabbing a hold of the players and saying, listen, I'm not going to have it. Look at him, telling them to calm down. It's good refereeing. You don't need to make a big production out of it. Just let them know you're not going to have it.
Michael Anderson will have the free kick for the Blue Demons. Nope, the second time he's done that. Where I think he's the one, and then...
Is that footer going to hit it? Those numbers are small on the far side. Binoculars out. I won't tell anybody you're using them.
It is Futerer. Left-footed free kick. Bouncing in the box. Looking to get a foot on it was DeBrownia, and cut off at the post by Campman.
If I'm DePaul, I'd like to see those free kicks driven in. It's too easy for the defender. Even though Loyola struggled a little bit with it, it's too easy for the defenders to read it when it's hanging up in the air like that. Good turn from Suko. Well played from Gustafsson, stepping in. Good, well read by DePaul there.
And it was Calipari who read the pass. And then Calipari called for a foul there. Little jersey tug, reached around it.
I don't know that the referee would have called that in the first half. He was letting a lot of that go, but now that it's getting chippy, he's going to keep a tighter rein on the players, I think. It's good refereeing. I'd like to see that. Look, he's going to have a word with him again. See? Cito's a good player. He's had a good night so far. He's getting a little bit frustrated. He's a young player. He'll learn.
DeBrownia with the header. There's Cito involved again, that time with Magno. Out of bounds at the Loyola bench for DePaul throw. Blue Demons picked to be 9th in the Big East this season, which would leave them out of the Big East tournament. Top 6 teams in the conference
It's been all Loyola so far, but it's still 1-0. I mean, just one chance is all DePaul needs, and they're level. And maybe this is it coming up, huh? Good turn. And a good effort.
No. Cross. They got cleared out. It was intended for Braden Calipari, who does have a goal on the season. They have a corner here for DePaul for the first time tonight. Futerer.
Yeah, I'd say they're going to look for the 6'5" De Bruyne, wouldn't you, Scott?
That would be my strategy.
Here he is at the back stick.
Left-footed corner coming from Futerer.
There it is. Yep.
Cleared out from the box, but there's a
good effort.
Curling ball over the top.
Futerer put it right where De Bruyne was. De Bruyne didn't get as much purchase on the header as he probably would have liked, but that's going to be difficult for teams to defend. He looks useful in the air, De Bruyne. Just because he's 6'5" doesn't mean he's going to be useful in the air, but he looks good in the air.
They called a deflection on that.
Yeah, it looked like it nicked off one of
by
the
Frent, so
knees.
Another corner here for DePaul.
No.
Coming to the short side, though.
Oh, good skill. Lucky.
Futerer and Anderson trying to play together there. It'll be out for the Loyola throw.
It's a nice ball from De Bruyne.
Loyola has enjoyed playing in front, as most teams tend to do, but when they've led at halftime over the last couple of seasons, they're 6-0.
This is dangerous. This is dangerous.
Looking for that second one here.
That's the ball we talked about. That's what a forward wants every time, is the early ball. It was the right idea, just left it about a yard short.
Ethan Stoneman will toss it back in. And now leave it behind for Tyler Biggs.
Is that the first time we've seen Biggs tonight? Maybe he's playing on the other side of the field. We didn't see
that tends to happen, yeah.
Although Loyola's been playing this side of the field for most of the game.
Free kick coming.
He's a good player, Biggs. I watched him last year. He's busy. So is Koolman going to swing this, bend it towards the far post with his left foot, or Suko going to take it with his right foot and curl it away from the keeper? I think Suko's going to hit it, the number 10, and I'm wrong. It's Koolman and bends it towards the far post. Not a bad free kick. Goal kick.
Drew Nelly, who transferred to DePaul from Indiana, was with the Hoosiers in 2017, did not play, and then joined DePaul last year.
They went to the national championship last year, Indiana, or they finished third?
Well, actually, I know that tonight it's a rematch of the national championship game. Maryland taking on Akron.
Okay, yeah.
Tonight.
I think maybe it was Akron knocked Indy out in the semis. Good header.
Maryland made a bit of a surprise run through the NCAAs last season compared to some of the years past. This goes out. It'll be a goal kick for Drew Nelly.
Good defending there from DePaul. He didn't bite on the fake. He stayed with the player. Realized that he was trying to hit the byline and forced him into the air. Knocked it out of bounds.
This is your first time working with me, Jack, but you'll soon learn that I work the Maryland Terrapins into broadcast very often. You could probably guess why. But yeah, the reigning national champs.
Oh, there you go.
Cito trying to keep it alive in the attacking third for DePaul.
I tell you, as a freshman, Cito, he's really given as good as he's getting against Magno. Magno's going to be, I think, one of the better players he's going to come up against. And yeah, Magno's probably just about getting the better of him, but Cito's not backing down. I think he's going to have a good future in college soccer.
Again, just a redshirt freshman, transferred in from Coastal Carolina. Speaking with our referee again, Nikola Alexic. Justin Suko's goal, 31st minute, the only tally so far, assisted by Marius Coleman. His second of the season, second as a Rambler.
The longer this goes on at 1-0, the more DePaul should grow in confidence and think, you know what, we've been outplayed, but we're still in the game, and you can see them make a push. From Loyola's standpoint, they'll think to themselves, we should be home and away, and we haven't finished them off, and sometimes the jitters can set in.
And these two teams played into overtime last year with a 1-0 victory for the Ramblers. 18-4-4, Loyola leads the all-time series. So last night on the women's side of things, DePaul took a 2-0 victory over Loyola. That all-time series is even now over the course of the time they've played. So the Ramblers here looking for a little bit of revenge, as you know, for their women's counterparts.
It's all getting a bit scrappy now.
So Loyola had 10 fouls in the first half to DePaul's 4, and seen a couple of cards.
Ooh, almost left that back header short.
Well, Marcel Campbell,
good skill.
Always looks pretty confident back there.
I know Neil Jones has been very happy with him so far.
I mean, obviously it's an interesting situation being a graduate student transfer from New Zealand, but you know, he has a lot of that international experience under his belt, and plenty of games that he's played.
Jones being a native New Zealand, he's got a nice pipeline of players from New Zealand, and it's really worked out well for Loyola. They fit in very well. I don't think they're going home for spring or fall break, though. You, Scott?
Well, they might want to because it's the winter here.
Now, if DePaul can force just little errors like that on Loyola and get an opportunity to, you know, have some restarts further up the pitch, they might be able to sneak something out of this. I notice when they do get close to the edge of the box, they're not afraid to pull the trigger, which is a good sign.
Brown, yeah. He's an imposing figure with that ball.
Chase Wright likes to pester those defenders when they're on the ball. He's got a ton of energy. Wasn't a bad idea. I think the Paul player there, he'd a right to expect his wide man to be making a run. The number 26 for Richards there. It was a blind pass, but I think he'd a right to expect his wide man to expect the pass there, and unfortunately he didn't get it.
Just about 15 minutes gone by here in the...
Good first touch from Seiko. Again, he's on the turn. That's a nice ball outside wide.
Working here in this second half.
That's unfortunate.
Well, turned over.
Look at Wright there up with the big man, De Bruyne. He had no right to win that header, but he was just being a pest, and he did get it.
All right, Loyola Soccer Park in Chicago. Scott Sudikoff, Jack Cannon with you. 1-0 Ramblers on a 31st minute goal by Justin Suko. And it's stayed that way since.
That's a nice ball from Gustafsson and good skill. That's a tough skill there. Was that Hensey there on the left trying to take the ball down? That's a 40-yard ball, and he's trying to take it down out of the air in his chest. It was good skill. He was unlucky. I think he wanted to foul, did he? With his hands up appealing to the referee.
Really stands out here. We've played 60 minutes. And DePaul does not have a shot on goal. Cito with the header.
Well played, Cito.
Richards trying to turn with it, denied, and back to the DePaul back line to Brownia, as well as Dan Iskra. Biggs gets
gotta
it
whip it in early there.
to Stoneman.
I'm a forward, I'm asking him to whip it in earlier there. See now DePaul can settle into the defense. You see what I'm talking about,
yep.
Scott, there?
Biggs was overlapping and had the Ethan Stoneman.
Yeah, Stoneman's got to whip it in there earlier. What's the worst thing that happens? It gets cleared away. As a forward, you're making your run based on the expectation he's going to do that. Now you've made your run. There's no surprise left for the defender. That's a foul. No, I'm surprised. Looked like the Loyola player fell to the DePaul player there. Good defending.
Corner upcoming. It'll be Justin Suko. Right-footed corner kick upcoming.
It's a short corner. Now as they move out, they'll whip it in. Yep, great cross. Oh, he gave a free out.
Headed wide by Stoneman.
I tell you what, that's lucky for Stoneman that it was a free out anyway, because he would be really disappointed at missing that header. Took up a good position and possibly should have tested the keeper there, but the foul was called. See what I mean there? Yeah. Oh, well played. Is that Biggs? Yep.
A little bit of commotion here at the field because one of the ball boys is trying to climb over the fence to go retrieve a ball.
Skill. Oh, he's in here.
But play continues onside, and with a lot of net to shoot on.
I would have put money on McGalley finishing that. He's usually sharper than that. He'll be really disappointed with himself, the senior.
So with half the crowd distracted by a ball boy trying to climb over the fence, they almost missed a near goal here from McGalley.
That was a great feed too. I couldn't see whether that was Suko or Hensey. I think it was Suko, but McGalley had liked that one back.
Joe McGee has come back on for DePaul, and Jason Ibarra back in for Loyola. Aiden McGalley.
Going McGalley. Oh, great ball from Magno.
So Loyola continues to really have the vast majority of the offensive pressure in this game. Had some chances to extend the lead, but you mentioned it.
Yeah.
You mentioned it, Jack. Though, if you're DePaul, the longer this stays 1-0, it's almost you get more confidence in yourself that you're gonna find something that works eventually and get that equalizer.
And it looks to me like Loyola has stepped back about 5 to 7 yards in an attempt maybe to drag DePaul out, and they're trying to catch him on the break. You see where they're defending just that little bit deeper. There's De Bruyne. We talked about that at the end of the first half. He was going to start pushing forward, trying to make things happen. If you're Loyola, you have to put teams like this away if you're going to have a successful season. You can't keep letting them hang around, because otherwise it's going to bite you.
Waiting for a throw here for Loyola. Take a little bit too much time here, so the referee's stopping the clock.
Oh, that hurt.
Play continues on in the box, though, for the Ramblers.
Good defending. Loyola player still down. He got hit with the ball. Yeah, the referee's going to stop it.
That's Marius Coleman. So they're going to check on him.
The Paul player was clearing the ball, and it smacked him right in the midriff. I wouldn't like to speculate what part of the body he took the brunt of it, but he went down like a sack of potatoes.
Leave it up to the imagination and hope it wasn't.
We'll see it here. Oh,
okay.
That hurts.
We don't need to run that replay again, I don't think. Let's delete that one. We'll move on here. But he's up and moving.
I don't miss those days, Scott, I can tell you that.
All right, 1-0 Loyola. Still with, just past the halfway point of the second half. Talked about Neil Jones being in his 7th year as the head coach here at Loyola, time as the associate head coach at Northwestern. And the native of New Zealand, you mentioned the pipeline, Jack, that he's able to get from there if players coming here to Chicago and play.
Ethan Collier is a player he had drafted by the MLS, was a New Zealand native, really good player. We've had a string of them since then.
First minute goal so far, standing up for Loyola by Justin Suko.
Loyola seems to have slipped into a little bit of a 4-1-4-1, and I think it's an attempt to draw DePaul out and catch him on the break. Thus far it hasn't worked. They've been hitting the long ball up to Ibarra 29, and it hasn't really been able to stick. You play a 4-1-4-1, you're asking an awful lot of your centre forward, because he's got to cover both sides of the pitch and hold the ball up to allow the midfield forward to get up and support him. There's a hit and a hope. Why not?
Can't been able to secure it. And bearing down on him, Joe McGee.
Good skill by Stallman.
Loops it up over the head of Timmy Iskra.
Ah, well played, Iskra. Very well done. The back heel to clear it.
It'll be a throw for the Blue Demons. Trying to get that ball to McGee. Hensey there for Loyola. And now McGee up the sideline, couldn't keep up with it.
We haven't seen as much as of Marius Kuhlman in the second half. He was dictating a lot of the attack for Loyola in the first half, and I haven't seen DePaul put an awful lot of pressure on him. But I think with Loyola sitting a little bit deeper, maybe there's not as much space for him to move into.
Picked up the assist on that Suko goal.
See what I mean by Ibarra's up there on his own, Scott. It's asking an awful lot of him.
Freshman. He's played in all 5 games.
Ah, nice turn. Unlucky. Well done, Suko.
Knocked away from Aiden McGalley.
That was good skill from Braden Calipari, the number 6 from DePaul. He was unlucky there, just got away from him, but he turned the Loyola player really well.
And Stoneman will knock that one out and give a goal kick to Drew Nelly.
He's been one of DePaul's better players this year, Braden Calipari. He's a junior out of Batavia, Illinois, and he showed nice skill there in turning the Loyola the midfielder.
His second year with DePaul after playing as a freshman at Wisconsin. Spent 7 years with the Chicago Fire Academy before his college career.
Oh, well done.
Ibarra, corner kick coming. Marius Kuhlman is, well, he's all good. And he'll tee this corner kick up. Left-footed ball coming.
It's left foot, it should curl in towards the far post. That's exactly what's happening.
Knocked up into the air by Nelly and then headed away.
Nelly did well there, was all he could do was get the fist on it and punch it clear.
Brania couldn't fully clear it, and Hensey's shot didn't have a ton on it.
Nah, he didn't catch it probably quite as nice as he would have liked to. It bobbled up right before he hit it. There's Magno again.
Attacking from that left side again, Loyola trying to at least.
Lucky. Does a lot of the dirty work in there. He's kind of, you know, doesn't show up on a stat, but he makes things happen there for Loyola, and he steals possession quite often to start the attack.
Gustafson cleared it out from that corner. Cito trying to keep it alive for DePaul, as is Anderson.
Oh, there's a mistake. Loyola got away with it. Usually in a game like this, when it stays 1-0, the opposition will get at least one decent chance before the end of the game. And that's what DePaul's just waiting for, just that one opportunity where they can capitalize and punish Loyola. For all their possession and all their attacking, Loyola still winning only winning 1-0, and Neil Jones will be, I think he'll be a little frustrated with that.
DePaul is yet to put a shot on frame. And we are almost 75 minutes in.
Have a word with Coach Jones, the referee, is he? Just see how things are going. How's the family? talking about dinner reservations for later, Scott. What do you think?
I wouldn't.
Neil doesn't look happy, does he?
I'm going to go ahead and guess that's probably not it.
He doesn't look happy. That's probably part of the frustration with his own team. You gotta, when you're dominating this much, you have to put the opposition away. Ah, good touch, unlucky.
Ibarra and DeBrownia come together.
Good idea, that was unlucky.
Cut off by Michael Anderson.
It was a good idea from McGalley there. He had the man wide on the right and got cut off. That's a foul, yeah. Oh, that's unlucky there. Quick free kick. That was an opportunity for DePaul. The referee bailed Loyola out there because DePaul had the numbers.
Stop play with 15:02 to go.
Cito had the ball with about 10 yards of space in front of him.
So into the final 15 minutes of regulation time at Loyola Soccer Park. And the Ramblers still in front 1-0 after the 31st minute goal by Justin Suko. Substitution here for DePaul. Isaac Frent has returned to the field. Redshirt junior from Andover, Minnesota. Another transfer on this program from Indiana.
Magno again.
Trying to get to the corner.
He just sits on those short balls coming into the middle of the park and snaps at the opponent's heels and steals it. He's done that time and time again this evening. That's really frustrating trying to play against a player like that. Here's a chance. Yep.
A shot and the score. 2-0 Loyola. Aiden McGalley with his second of the year.
That was a beautiful strike. Beautiful strike, Scott. That's the second goal Loyola were looking for. That's a clean strike. McGalley had that chance earlier on in the second half that he didn't take, and I'd say that was weighing on his mind and he wasn't going to waste that one. I think there's scorch marks on the back of the net. It's hard to see a way back for DePaul now.
So the 77th minute goal by Aiden McNally. One in each half for the Ramblers, and they're in front 2-0. Second of the year for him, and the 12th of his career. Looking for more.
There's a third. Oh, he's feeling it now, McGalley, isn't he? He's normally a very good finisher, so I was surprised that chance earlier in the second half that he let go, and I'd say that would be weighing on his mind, but he wasn't going to waste this one. Well played, Magno.
Michael Anderson getting the worst of that.
Yeah, he
down
did.
on the ground with Stoneman. Play continuing on for the Ramblers. Into the box, 3-0.
That's great football, a give and go there.
Billy Hensey with his first of the season. 3-0 Ramblers.
Say good night, Scott.
Good night, Scott.
It's going to be hard for DePaul to come back from that now.
So in the 77th minute, McGalley. And then in the 78th minute, quickly, Billy Hensey makes it 3-0.
That was a beautiful give and go that Hensey played. Followed it into the box. He had pressure on him there and he kept his composure well to knock it over the keeper. It was a good goal. You can't, I mean, it's a fair reflection on the balance of play. I mean, Loyola are 2 or 3 goals better than DePaul tonight. It hadn't shown on the scoreboard up until a couple of minutes ago.
Hensey had 1 goal last year as a freshman. And now his first of his sophomore campaign. So goals about a minute apart there for Loyola to go up 3-0. And this is an offense last year that only averaged 1.1 a game. So far this year, 1 exactly per game. They put 3 on the board so far today.
The second and third goal came about as a result of a player following his pass from deep. Hensey did it there. Coleman did it in the first half. It creates the mismatch. It's harder for the defenders to pick him up when the runner comes in after releasing the ball.
And Loyola's defense has been strong enough the last couple of years. If they get to multiple goals in a game, they're just about unbeatable. Including tonight, or at least this season and last season, they've reached 2 goals or more. This is only the 6th time they've done that in the last 2 years. And so far, they're undefeated in those such occasions. And 3-0. Have to feel pretty solid right now with 11 minutes left.
It's a way back for DePaul. They haven't really threatened much, especially in this second half. They haven't mustered up the push that maybe you would have hoped for. I see a lot of potential, DePaul. They've got a young team and they've got a clear idea what they want to do, but they might just be a little bit raw, a bit young. You know, Loyola's got a veteran core here that's been around, the likes of Magno, McGalley.
Ibarra got in front of Calipari there. See how DePaul plays in this final 10 minutes or so. See how they react to the situation. Dan Iskra back to it for the Blue Demons with DeBrownia.
De Bruyne now pushing up. Is that trying to get something for DePaul? Might be too little too late even if he does.
31st minute, Justin Suko. 77th minute, Aiden McGalley. 78th minute, Billy Hensey. The Loyola goal scorers tonight. And Marcel Campman has not had to make a save in the contest.
It's a good flick.
Here's a cross.
Not a bad cross at all. That's a decent cross there.
And a corner coming.
Campman was scrambling.
And now we'll have the corner on the other side. Jake Feuderer.
It's a good corner. There's a goal.
And headed in, yep.
De Bruyne, isn't it?
Yep, DeBrownia.
It's a great cross from Feuderer.
All 6'5" of him, just knocks it right in.
That'll work for DePaul.
For his 3rd career goal, and DePaul gets on the board off the corner kick with 8.
That's a fantastic
41
corner
left.
from Feuderer, whipped it in there at pace. Remember talking about hanging up, you need to put a little bit more speed in it, and there you go, look. All he had to do was make contact with it. There was enough force in it that it would go in.
So the first shot on goal of the game ends in the back of the net. Max DeBrownia.
Very hard to fault Campman on that when you get a header from that close in, especially with a big man like that.
So 3-1 with 8.5 minutes left.
It was 1-0 10 minutes ago, wasn't it?
You got the goals
now,
a minute apart for Loyola. And just a couple minutes later now, DePaul gets on the board. And
that's a smart play from Ethan Stoneman there. He knew nothing was on, but he just played the ball in the corner. You're at home, you're 3-1 up there. They've just scored. Just put it somewhere where it's going to make it difficult for them.
About to enter the 83rd minute of play here.
Loyola's now pressing the back four of the back three of DePaul when they're bringing the ball out. They weren't there for long stretches. That's a great ball from Calipari.
Chance to make it 3-2, and Campman.
There's a fantastic save from Calipari. The referee give a penalty?
It looks like that's the case. A yellow card to Campman.
Yeah, I think he's giving a penalty kick, isn't he? Yeah, I didn't see that. I'll have to see the replay on that. Wow, I didn't see this coming. Let's have a look in the replay here. No, if camera froze at the wrong moment. He's talking to the linesman. I don't think they have VAR here. Scott,
No.
I don't know really. He's going with the penalty, yeah. I'd really like to see that replay once more. The camera froze weren't we going to do, and here's De Bruyne is going to take it too. We're going to have a fun last 7 minutes if he sticks this away.
Max Jabrownia trying to score 2 quick ones for the Blue Demons.
Not taking much of a run up.
Against Marcel Campman.
He's got about 2 steps till he hits it. Maybe even 1.
It's 3-2.
They're right back
with
in it now.
7:40 left to go. And there is plenty of time for the Blue Demons. This would be just an incredible turn of events if DePaul finds a 3rd one here.
Totally against the run of play, but listen, you know, goals change games. All right, here we go. No, I don't really. That's it. Looked a bit soft to me. I didn't have as good a view of it as the referee does. In fairness, the referee's very well positioned there, and he was sure of it.
Oh, just a few minutes ago, you and I were just kind of, the way we were talking was this one was in the bag for Loyola.
DePaul hadn't had a shot on goal.
Corner kick, header goal by De Bruyne, then that opportunity, a penalty kick. De Bruyne scores again. And this game has an exciting 7 minutes to follow.
Yep. Calipari did very well there on the play that created the penalty kick. He ran at DePaul's or Loyola's defense and a little slide pass into the box for the runner.
We've had 4 goals here in the second half, and they have all come in the span of about 8 minutes, a little bit less.
Neil Jones now, you see who your leaders are, who gets on the ball and starts knocking it around and building a rhythm again. When that happens to you, what you want to do is just get 4, 5, 6 or 7 passes, string them together, take the sting out of the game.
Up the sideline. Hensey, the lone player up there, has one of the goals here in the second half for Loyola. The other by Aiden McGalley. Justin Suko started the scoring in the first half.
That's the mark of a senior type player. I know he's only junior magno, but he's a leader on this team. The team needs him. He's getting on the ball quite a bit and just knocking her about and trying to string passes together, get the rhythm going again.
Calipari.
See it again there, number 8, Magno. He's buzzing.
Be a throw for DePaul. Back in for Dan Iskra.
That's a good ball and looking.
Pressure coming by Ramadan, but played away from him. Comes all the way back for Drew Nelly. He's seen his offense come alive quickly and get 2 on the board here after he was down 3-0. 5 minutes left to play.
It's a good ball.
Michael Anderson.
That's also a good pass. Oh, it's a little astray.
Well,
He's going to get the runner.
We've been talking about the wind all night here. It's been whipping around, so I'm sure a lot of those passes are being affected.
Magali did well there. He brought the ball forward, allowed his team to move up behind him. Struck a pass back there to try and take the sting out of the game. Fortunately, his teammate wasn't able to hold possession.
Suko to the sideline.
Oh, well played. Well played, Chase Wright. Used his body well.
Chase challenged by DeBrownia.
That's a yellow card there.
So it'll give Loyola a free kick about 20 yards out. There's the yellow card for DeBrownia.
Very well done by Wright there. He turned the defender well and he skinned DeBruyne, which is not easy to do. He's a big man. You know, De Bruyne was the last man there. I've seen that given as a red. The referee doesn't determine he took away a scoring opportunity, but he did look like the last man there. I'd have to see it again. Here we go, look.
It's definitely the last man.
He's the last man. I've seen that given as a red card. I think De Bruyne can consider himself lucky there.
Justin Suko.
So usually here now you'd see a left footer put it on goal. It looks like Suko's going to try and probably bend it towards the far post. Oh, there you
Along
go.
for Hensey.
Very clever. That's another one right off the training ground. That's very, very well done.
4-2 Loyola. Suko to Hensey. His second of the game, second of the half.
That's the type of play you practice and train all the time and it never works. That's fantastic. Very well done.
An offensive explosion in this second half, where we have seen 5 goals scored in the last 10 minutes.
Who had their money on 4-2 15 minutes ago?
Nobody. It was 3-0 Loyola.
It's turning into a basketball game.
5 minutes ago.
It may not be done yet.
Yeah, you expect DePaul to
De Bruyne to come up for his
answer.
hat trick.
crowd, I'd say, overreacting a little bit to that.
It's nice to see the enthusiasm as long as it's contained.
It's a little, you know, that play happened in the first half. The first couple of minutes, nobody even bats an
exactly.
eye. But yes, you definitely love the enthusiasm, the crowd that has stuck around, and some people started walking out when it was 3-0. Most people have stayed, though.
The players will feed off that too, Scott, as you know. You can just hope frustration doesn't boil over here. I'd like to see everybody finish the game, you know.
Well, I think if you're DePaul, you have to be somewhat proud of yourself in the sense that, well, it's 3-0 and you didn't just roll over.
You do. They're a young team. It's a tough place to come and play. You know, Loyola's had a strong record here, and yeah, they could have folded their tent and they didn't.
And, you know, maybe it shouldn't have been a penalty kick. Maybe it should have. It ended up being one, but, you know, if you're DePaul, you just take the situation given to you.
Of course, yeah.
Took advantage of it.
It's interesting you say that.
They put themselves in that situation to gain that.
I'd have to look at it again, but I don't recall like a huge outcry from DePaul looking for a penalty there, but they got it nevertheless. Boy, Wright has really kind of given De Bruyne some problems tonight, hasn't he? In the last few minutes especially.
Coming up on 2 minutes left. Offside.
Yeah.
Flag up here on the near side of the field. With 2 to play.
It's funny, generally I think the referee's done a nice job tonight, and while it looked like the penalty was soft, the referee was very well positioned, and if he thought it was a penalty, he was certainly close enough to see it. He could have given a red probably to De Bruyne as last man. He didn't, and that's nice to see everybody stay on the pitch.
Calipari taken down by Suko. Iskra will quickly restart things with less than 90 seconds to play. Loyola will begin conference play Wednesday at Evansville and then have their first conference home game September the 22nd against Missouri State. And DePaul will play at UIC this coming Tuesday before they open up Big East play next Friday against Villanova.
There's the look for De Bruyne
looking for his third.
You know, when you have a player like that, you're going to be able to manufacture a lot of the goals over the year, particularly when you have the likes of Footerer that's got a sweet left foot. They can place it right on his head.
Yeah, we saw that corner kick that he perfectly placed for De Bruyne for that first goal.
And it wasn't the first time he did it. The first couple of times De Bruyne didn't get a good head on it, and then Footerer drove it on the last one, and all De Bruyne had to do was make contact.
Down to 20 seconds left to go in this one. Loyola is going to, well, I'll give it a few more seconds here. They will hang on here for
the way it's going,
the victory.
2 more goals in it, right, Scott?
And get their record of 3-2 and be 3-0 at home. DePaul only going to suffer its second loss of the season. DePaul had only allowed 2 goals on the year coming in, and Loyola nets 4 against the Blue Demons tonight in a 4-2 victory. Loyola over DePaul. And an exciting game that, well, it wasn't going to be